from the call center of the Bob seat with my nerdy headphones that I have on at the moment. I'm trying something new. Obviously, we have Max back in the seat, the Bob seat with his new setup. He's got a new curtain background. He's got,
Yeah, that just happens to be the curtains because the background didn't look right with the nice camera.
we know that it's the special curtain, and then you
It's a
have
special curtain.
the matching ball cap.
Oh yeah, yeah, that matches.
It
Yep,
it fits in well,
everything.
and then the microphone. It's
Yeah,
looking
then
good.
I could talk a little bit closer. You're listening to New Jersey 101.5. I said, I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
How is New Jersey, by the way? You're calling us from New
Oh
Jersey
yeah, yeah.
today.
I'm calling you from New Jersey. It's terribly cold, and
Yeah, it is
you can't be
terribly
outside
cold.
for more than 2 seconds. You're in the city?
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
Philly.
Yeah. How's the wind over there? I feel like every time I'm in there, it's like you're in a wind tunnel.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. I'm gonna tell you a secret to staying warm. From someone who's lived on both coasts, and when I
That's
came
right. Yeah.
back, I lost all of my winter gear, so to speak, and I'm cold again, and I figured out how to dress for the warmth.
Mm.
So first thing, they say layers. Layers are obviously important. You got to wear multiple of shirts or a shirt and a sweater. That's before you even get to the coat. And they sell fuzzy pants, which is
Right.
nice. It's just like the Uggs, but it's with the like sweatpants. We
Yeah,
got
like the
the
the fleece line. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's that
Yeah,
that really helps.
those are killer.
Um,
You got to get the jeans that are fleece lined like that.
Jeans.
Yeah, they have jeans that are fleece lined too. I mean,
Wow.
we had went to New York. It was like now it's probably been about a month and a half. It was really cold. It was right before Christmas. And it was 22 degrees, but in the city it feels worse because you have the shadows of the building and whatnot, and then the
Totally. Yeah.
wind tunnel. And I dressed warm, but the people we went with didn't dress warm. But it was 3 pairs of pants because you got to do three. You can't do two because
You had
it'll work
three
its way.
pairs of pants.
Yeah. So basically, this is how you layer it up. You do pants, socks that go over the pants. Then you do another pair of pants, right? Pajama
How do you have
pants.
pants that fit over pants?
Because you do the thin ones first. You do real thin pajama pants first. Then you do the fleece
Oh,
lined. Then you do fleece lined. Then you do
okay.
socks, another pair of socks over those
Okay.
pair. So you're double socked, two
Jeez,
pants,
dude.
and then you pull jeans over that. so
Wow.
I pulled my
You
jeans over that.
really you're on another level here with multiple pants.
Well,
I
you
didn't even
need
think to go that far.
so you need the jeans because the jeans compress everything and holds in the heat. So you have the layers of
Hmm.
insulation and then the heat compression.
Okay. Wow. All
So
right.
that's the trick for the legs.
You're
And then up
talking
top,
Minnesota cold here at this point.
up top you got to do you do a real do like a wife beater or something, then you do
Okay.
the Under Armour over top of that, and then
Mm,
you do a long sleeve over that,
mm,
hoodie over that, and
mm.
then jacket over that, and then the
All right.
really important part, because if you miss
Yes.
this,
Yeah, yeah. None
you're
of this
screwed.
other stuff matters. Yeah.
You have to have a scarf of some kind or a
Yep.
mask of some kind because the
Totally.
wind chill will just cook your face,
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. So you need that. And then so we went to New York. We did that. We
Yeah.
were plenty warm. It was 20 degrees, I think. Everything was like there was no people in the city. It
But the
felt like
wind chill
yeah,
is terrible.
it was wild because I feel like every time I go to New York, it's just always so packed. But it was like less packed than walking in Philly. Like there was like
Mm.
barely any people. And we were there all day. So we ended
Yeah.
up going back the following week. And when we went back the following week, we dressed kind of the same way because it was supposed to be similar temperature, but it ended
Mm,
up being like in the 30s.
mm,
And luckily I brought a backpack because it was just stripping clothes off the second we got there. I was like,
mm.
so then I had to carry around, you know, 10
At least
pairs
had
of
the backpack.
10 pairs of clothes. Yeah, it was pretty bad though. Because then, you're just stuck carrying around a pound, 10 pounds of clothes, So
Better than what I do. And I have like the hoodie and I gotta tie it around me and then it's just like bounce it around. The
yeah.
backpack's a good idea.
Yeah, you got to do the backpack, especially in New York. You just look like a tourist anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Mm, mm. But that was a good time. Went to the NBC building.
Yeah. So
Big
cool.
Saturday Night Live fan. So
Yeah. Mm,
yeah,
nice.
they just had their 50th anniversary too.
I keep
Saturday Night
hearing
Live.
about that. Was that like on
Yeah.
Netflix or something?
It was on Peacock because that's how they
I don't mess with Peacock
who
anymore.
uses Peacock. But
I
no, it
had
was
an issue
good.
with Peacock.
Did you?
Well, they just made it difficult to leave.
Mm.
I
Isn't
don't
it? It's
like that.
connected to your like provider or something.
It
Usually, I think.
wasn't, it was just like I was just trying to like get to the like cancel subscription link and like
They're like, are you
they made
sure?
it so hard to find. Maybe things have changed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to give them another chance just yet.
Yeah. I can see the subscriptions evolving already. Like even Netflix is like pushing the boundaries a little bit.
Oh yeah, they're
They keep
pushing
upping their
hard.
prices, and then
I
before you know it,
I'm gone. I'm off Netflix.
good. Good.
This
What are you still on?
I'm on YouTube, right?
YouTube?
Like
Just like YouTube
this
TV or something?
the Bob seat is on YouTube. This
Bob's. Okay.
podcast is surprisingly um not promoted by Netflix or Peacock.
Not yet.
But YouTube, feel free to sponsor us. We are big
Oh,
YouTube fans. We're big
love YouTube.
we're big furry pants fans.
Hmm.
Um, the balaclava,
Hmm. Yep.
the thing
Gotta
that
have the balaclava.
gotta have the balaclava. And I gotta
Mhm.
say, the thing that you missed is the ski goggles.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The
Yeah.
ski goggles help two things.
Uh-huh.
They help your eyes to not get frozen. I don't know if about you, but like my eyes are always tearing from the
Hmm.
cold. And oh, it's like a mess. But then there's the sun, and you can't like, you got to deal with like the sun and
Yeah.
the tears. So the goggles actually help with the sun too. And they're so cheap. They're like $7 for a pair of these goggles.
Yeah. If you
Uh,
can
the
get away with it without people thinking you're,
Oh,
on
they think
something.
I'm actually, I got complimented when I was walking down the street. Somebody was like, nice glasses.
Oh, nice.
And
Well,
it
and
may not
it's
have been serious.
you're in the city, so that makes sense.
I know when I was in Jersey, I was,
Oh yeah, in
yeah, and I
Jersey.
was just walking around the block doing my steps and I had the goggles on. I don't care. I think it looks
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I made the mistake of not wearing ski goggles when we just went snowboarding. We
Oh,
ju- and
the worst.
so because I used to do climb trees and stuff, and I have a tree climbing helmet, and it has a visor that just kind of flips down. And I was like, well,
Hmm.
that's better because now it's just connected. I don't have to rent a helmet or anything. I got my helmet, I got my goggles. I don't need them. But you quickly realize that you do need them because you need that seal that suctions around your
Mm.
face because as often so this was the first time I went snowboarding. This was just a few weeks ago. And
Mm. Oh, really?
when it's your first time snowboarding, you eat it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
so
yeah.
having goggles that would be sealed would be a lot better so snow doesn't
Mm,
impale your
mm, mm,
face. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. Yeah.
mm.
So it was that, and then also the wind could enter. It was less so, but
Yeah.
when after you get up after falling 100 times,
Mm.
uh, it starts to get cold.
Who got you into
So
snowboarding? Was
fly.
that Maddie's idea?
Yeah. So actually, well, Maddie, it was Maddie's first time too,
Oh, okay.
and but her friends they wanted to go snowboarding, and
Hmm.
so you get roped into it. And you know what? I'm a pretty good skateboarder.
Sure.
So I was
It
like,
translates.
yeah, and it kind of does. I could
Kind
control
of does.
the snowboard pretty well, but
Yeah,
I
it's
was
just so
just
much work. You're just like, man, I could just like put on a t-shirt and jeans and go skateboarding. I don't have to
yeah,
like lock 100 pieces of equipment
that's
all
the
over my
worst.
body.
That's the worst part is not
Yeah.
is being locked in, like not being able to take your foot off. And like
Yeah.
at first when you're doing it, you're like, I just want to be able to take my foot off. But then like,
Yeah.
a few times you get pretty like rocked, and then you realize if your feet
Yeah.
weren't locked in as tight as they
Oh
are,
yeah.
you'd be in way worse shape. But that is
Yeah.
definitely the worst part, especially getting onto the ski lift.
Yeah.
And
Ski lift. Yeah. And you gotta wait and you gotta
first of
go all
all,
the way up.
yeah, my snowboard is extremely heavy, and
Oh yeah.
when you're going up to the top of the thing, and that you're sitting on the ski lift, by the time we get up there, my leg has already lost all the circulation to it
Yeah.
because it's so heavy, and then you just get thrown off, and like if you're sitting next to people, like if everybody has snowboards, it gets a little cumbersome because it's like
Oh yeah.
everybody's trying to get back on,
Yeah.
and you
It's
just
kind of
gotta,
like
yeah, I'm
I
bad.
had
I
s-
mean,
I had similar issues when I tried surfing. It's like the act isn't the hard part
mhm.
necessarily. Like once you got the wave and you got on the wave and you learned how to stand up. Have you ever been surfing?
I haven't. I was gonna say
It's
that.
definitely a super West Coast thing. When I moved out to San Diego, I
Yeah.
like spent like, I don't know, a year or two trying, like bought a
Hmm.
surfboard and everything. But like, you know, I did like the free lessons and stuff through Meetup. Like learning how to
Right.
do it isn't the hard part. It's like all of the other people. It's getting out to the ocean. It's like wading. It's putting on the wetsuit. It's like being wet the whole time. It's just
Yeah.
like
It's all the gear steps
it's the
involved.
gear and the steps.
Yeah.
It's like the hobby itself, like, is fun for like this little amount of time.
Yeah.
But then everything else that you have to do around it
Yeah.
is this whole
Snowboarding is
ritual.
definitely the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, because I was even thinking like I put the boots on for the first time. I was like, you can't even walk in these. So, and then it's like,
Yeah.
where do
And you got to
we?
walk over to the
Yeah, I was like, where do we
ski
get
thing.
dressed? Like, it's not we
Uh,
can't walk around barefoot in the snow. And they're like, you get dressed at your car and you walk there. And then we're like,
uh,
half
why
a
do you
mile
do
away.
this?
I'm like, this sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine, surfing. That's probably a
And
giant chore.
your hobby's lifting weights, right?
Yeah,
For the most
yeah,
part. So that's
yeah,
not all you gotta do is go to the gym.
yeah. And I mean, people
Even
over
that though.
people overcomplicate that though, like big time, because people. I mean, listen, if I'm powerlifting and something requires it, like a squat, you might be required to have a deadlifting belt or a
Mm,
squat belt, and those are kind of just like safety things. But like for the most part, like even when I bench press, like people wear wrist straps and everything, and I used to for a while, but as I kept getting more advanced, the less stuff I needed to bring with me, and now it's to the point where I don't bring anything really at all.
mm,
Um, and I'm the better for it. Depending on what gym I'm going to too. Like if I'm going to an iron gym, like a gym that's specifically meant for powerlifting, they basically have
mm,
everything you would need there. The only thing I would really even consider using for the lift side, I mainly do, which is bench press, is chalk, just because I get clammy
mm.
hands. So the chalk, they have the chalk bowls around, but
Sure.
most gyms you can't even use it anyway. So
Why?
um, it's a mess. So
Oh, sure.
commercial gyms just don't even allow
Huh.
it because
So interesting.
stupid people will get it everywhere and then leave it. So
Really?
yeah, so in iron gyms they have like a spot to do it. It's like a little bowl, and you try and keep it in the bowl. You try not to be a
Hmm.
jerk.
Sure.
Um,
It's just
but
loose, like loose chalk.
yeah, so it's like it's a bowl full of like chalk, and there'll be like
Yeah.
the clump in it, and you can
Oh,
put
okay.
the clump on, and you can break it up and just use it in
Yeah.
pieces.
Huh.
But that's
I
really.
guess if it's all over your hands, it's gonna get on everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the other thing is like some people, especially like newer power lifters and stuff, they chalk up their back. They chalk up, like for even for bench press, because when you're locking your back onto the bench, the chalk helps just so you don't slide around, but
Huh.
it really doesn't help that much. Or they'll chalk up for the bar, like if they're doing a squat, they'll put chalk on
Mm,
the back of their neck.
mm.
Um, I really only need it on my hands so they don't slide around. But
Why not wear gloves?
it's just another thing to bring.
Yeah.
People will make fun of you if you were wearing gloves
Yeah,
in an
yeah, yeah,
iron
yeah.
gym. If you were doing it at like a commercial gym, nobody really cares. But uh, it's just like one of those like beginner things. Like even like if you're wearing a belt, like a lifting belt, and it's like kind of those like Dick's Sporting Goods like
Sure.
version of a lifting belt. It should be
Yeah.
like a nice like leather lifting belt. Not that it
Yeah.
matters that much, but it's like one of those things. Just
It's
like,
like a tell.
yeah, it's like a tell that you're newer into the
Yeah.
gym. But
Yeah. It,
even like some people actually, a lot of lifting gloves, I feel like, because I did use those when I very first started when I was a kid,
mm,
and they don't have like a great grip. And actually, a
yeah.
lot of people will use landscaping like gloves, like where it's like the rubber all over the hand instead of like the fingers being
Mm,
cut out.
mm.
Um, and those are probably the most effective. But then you're also walking around the gym in landscaping gloves. But I do see a lot of people do that.
But it's not a tell of an amateur at that point.
No,
You
no.
got the fingers.
Actually, that yeah. So honestly, the landscaping one is more like a tell of like an older guy that's like been around and just doesn't care
Mm,
anymore. It just brings up,
mm.
yeah. So there's one guy I see that wears like surgical gloves too. So,
Yeah.
and he's an older guy that you can tell has been lifting a long time.
He probably wears goggles
Yeah,
in the winter time and doesn't care at
probably,
all.
probably. Listen, I think the older you get, the more you just care about being comfortable and you don't care about what
Totally.
anybody else thinks. So I think
Yeah.
that's more
I've been
important.
wearing sweatpants every day for a long time now.
You know what? That's something I learned young. So even even luckily in the wintertime, even under my work pants, to make sure my
Yeah.
work pants are big enough so I can always wear comfy pajama pants underneath my work pants. Because that would be sucky if you just wear canvas work pants all day with nothing under them.
Wait, you wear
Yep.
pajama pants under your work pants?
Yeah, every day.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I feel like you're telling me some sort of like trick of the trade here.
I you know what? You know how people get home and they just peel everything off and they're like, "Oh, I just can't wait to get out of this stuff." Like I feel like I could be working all day and I'll come home and I'll end up chilling in my work stuff just because
It's
I
so
don't.
comfortable because you
Yeah, it's
already have your
comfortable.
pajamas on.
Yeah, I'm already in my pajamas. So you know, like the night before I put on clean pajamas, I go to bed, I wake up, I pull my socks over the pajama bottoms, and then I put my work pants on and I'm out the door. That's how I
You
do it.
shower at night, I guess, before the.
Yeah, yeah, I shower
Okay.
because I don't want to get in my bed dirty. So you shower at
Yeah.
night, clean in the bed, clean waking up, do your day, come home, shower. That's how it
Yeah.
goes. I don't know. Are you a
Interesting.
morning shower guy? I don't understand that.
Usually I'm not really a night shower guy.
Why? What's your rationale?
It's
Wakes you up?
it's just a lot of work. It's like I
Yeah,
gotta take off my clothes, I gotta go
that's
into the
true.
shower, I gotta remember what I have to do is always the order of operations. And
Right.
I got a lot of things. I usually brush my teeth when I shower,
Mhm.
because
At
I
the
make
same
a
time,
mess. I make a mess
you actually
brushing my
brush your
teeth.
teeth while you're showering?
I mean, while I'm under the shower, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not like
nice.
I'm not like washing my body while I'm brushing my
Like,
teeth. I couldn't handle
yeah.
that coordination.
Yeah.
But like especially the beard, right? Like and
Yeah.
like it
Yeah,
just
I
goes
can't relate.
everywhere, the toothpaste. And then I gotta like wash my beard. So if I'm already in the
Yeah.
shower, it gets all over, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, how
so
long
I
you been
yeah.
rocking the beard for?
Oh. I mean I've shaved it probably in the last 10 years.
The last
Uh
10 years, yeah.
I was in a show called Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and I played the main guy, Curly, who was a cowboy in like, I don't know, the 40s or something, as a bald guy with a beard that was probably twice the size of this one. It was so massive, this
So your
beard.
beard was you just grew it out? It was that long at the
Yeah,
time?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was so long. It was like I have pictures, I'll show you. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
pop it on the screen, but
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
um yeah, so I think I shaved my beard on like the last night of the show. Because like as a cowboy, I had a cowboy hat on, so like the,
Hmm.
the bald thing wasn't as like apparent. But
Hmm.
like cowboys back then probably didn't have big beards, not like that. So like it probably fit the character more, but like
Yeah.
I just shocked, I think, everybody in the cast who had literally never even seen me
S-
ever with a
Yeah.
short beard, let alone no beard.
Yeah. You probably looked like 10 years old too after that.
Yeah,
Do you
it
feel
was
that? Do you feel that when you shave that you just feel like much younger?
I haven't
You don't
shaved,
get.
so
Ah, well, you haven't shaved in a while, I
I do
guess.
the cheeks every day,
Hmm.
and I'm just trimming with scissors.
Hmm.
Uh,
When
my
was the last
sink
time you
doesn't
were
love it, but
completely clean shaved?
yeah, probably then, probably
Probably
for
then.
that show.
Wow.
Yeah,
How long ago was
um,
that? About 10 years ago, is that what you said?
could be.
Could
Yeah,
be.
probably
Yeah.
about that. What
Wow.
what, what year are we in? 25?
25. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 9 or 10 years ago. I should do it again.
I
Maybe I'll do
can't
it for
believe
this
you don't get the
podcast.
impulse. I would feel the impulse to do it.
I did for a while. I kept going back and forth. I would grow it out. I
Yeah.
would shave it.
Shave
And
it.
it was like
Hmm.
fun. It grows
Hmm.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is like the awkward stage a little bit, like where it's kind of like rounded and it's just like doesn't come to a point. And like
Gotta
and it's like
oil it.
thick, and I gotta trim a lot more than I do now. Like now it's
Yeah.
just like little bits.
Yeah,
Um
I feel like that's got to be a giant pain in the ass too, though. I mean, luckily for me, I can't really grow a beard. I can only grow a little bit on here, but
you got a
I
good chin.
try and shave. I try and shave as often as possible. It still grows,
You don't need
and it's
to.
annoying for me. So
You can
I
grow
could
muscles
imagine.
though, so that's cool.
I could imagine how annoying it is if it was like came up to here, and I'd have to shave
Yeah. Oh yeah.
even
Yeah.
probably 2 times a day.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
doesn't. I don't probably have to. It's not like I'm a werewolf here, but like I just feel like just trimming, like just shaving like the
right.
cheeks,
Yeah. Hmm.
it gives the impression that you care.
Yeah,
You know, you
yeah, because
start
you go,
having like
yeah.
little things.
How far down does it come?
It's like,
Far down
oh,
your neck too? I feel like that's a tell that you care. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah. Well,
yeah,
it's gotten to the point where like I actually don't have to shave under here. I did for a while. I feel
yeah,
like I just can cut because like the hair is long enough that it kind of covers
right.
some of that neck growth.
Yeah, see, for me, that's the only place it really grows. So it wants to like grow
Yeah.
down, and it's trying to connect to like my chest.
Well,
So
you got time.
that's yeah.
Ju-
I
Just keep letting it hang.
keep letting it hang. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just starts to
Yeah.
get. But like, there's been a few times where it's been pretty grown out, and like the
Yeah.
mustache comes
Sure.
in, and this comes in,
I think I've
like
seen that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you were in the show, when you were Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, my I was Jesus at that time.
Mm,
I had the real
yeah.
long hair too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably about as long as I've let it get, and I got the mustache combo thing.
What about
But
your dad or whatever? Does he have
perfect beard, and
really?
yeah, perfect beard. But he's completely shaven. He's probably been bald since he
What
was
about your maternal
19.
grandfather?
My maternal grandfather, my mom's dad.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was being
uh,
fancy.
yeah. So my mom's dad has perfect hair, beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
and
you've
my
got good hair.
yeah, and
'Cause,
luckily, so my uncle has really good hair too, and he's
man,
62 and
you
has
got a good line of
very
hair.
good
I wouldn't
hair.
be worried. I think it'll
Yeah,
come in at some point. Even then,
yeah,
you don't need a beard. I need
yeah.
it because I don't have hair.
Well,
Um,
yeah. So you gotta have something to style, but
yeah, it's nice.
There's something cool about being totally clean. You clean all
Totally.
around.
I know guys that are totally clean and they look pretty cool. Not
Yeah.
all of them, but some of them.
You ever seen Hitman? You ever played Hitman? You ever heard of it?
No, but I know like Jason Statham. Is that him or
Well,
same?
similar vibe actually.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
so Hitman is a it's actually a old. It started out. It was an old video game. I think it was from like the late '90s, early 2000s.
yeah.
But it's kept its stayed around, and it keeps getting
Hmm.
updated. And then now there's like new versions of it. But he's basically shaved head, shaved face, everything like straight, you know. And he's essentially a supermodel with a bald head that kills people.
No
so
eyebrows, I
so
imagine either.
no, he's got eyebrows. He does have eyebrows. Surprisingly, that's the only thing
Yeah,
he's
be
not.
careful as a hitman.
Well, the idea is I think the idea is that he's bald so that like he can disguise himself as people, because that's the whole thing, is
Mm.
that he'll take whack somebody and then he'll put like their outfit on and then like just blend in. So you can blend in easier because you're not locked into like a hairstyle or something. You just throw a hat on and blend in with everybody else. I think that's the idea. But
Good for an actor too.
yeah. Yeah.
Except surprisingly,
Well,
it wasn't a
ooh,
suggestion that I became a wig to Jesus. They were like, let's just leave him bald.
yeah. Would you see the lady from Wicket is going to be playing Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ Superstar? Did you see that?
I saw I have not finished watching Wicked to know
Yeah,
that that was who it was, but
yeah.
that's cool.
I forget her name, but you know,
I think they need to. I think it's
yeah.
time
Mm,
because that song is not meant to be sung by genetic male
yeah,
biology.
yeah. I'm sure that was pretty tough.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't sing it. I didn't sing it as like people expected it to be sung.
yeah,
I
yeah.
sang like
Definitely.
an octave lower.
Yeah, it was. He's got very high notes, especially.
Yeah, there's
I
like
can think
a
back to a lot of them at the moment.
unreal note that was just like incredibly high.
I think I
But
know exactly where it is. Yeah,
for a woman, like that's certainly within range.
yeah,
It's fine. It's a song. Who cares? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, it's Jesus, whatever, but it's obviously an interpretation of the story.
Yeah, and then I feel like I don't know if you saw the remake that they made in like the early 2000s, but that was very
I saw all of them. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that was very different too. So
totally.
not that I like
Uh,
that one better,
I like it,
but
man. It's the music's
yeah,
starting to come back to me in my head. Bam, 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 bam,
yeah.
bam.
I mean I love the music. I
Music was
just
good.
I just don't
You
like
didn't like that.
the remake from 2000 where it's like it's supposed to be modern day.
Which one
And
was that again? Do you
so
remember the?
it was like Judas was like wearing a leather jacket and they're all like in like
Oh
streets
yeah,
and
yep,
like
yep, 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 yep.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
curly haired guy was Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
I know which one you're
They
talking about.
actually they just did that. They just did that one, that version at the Ritz in
Oh, okay. How
Haddonfield.
did that go?
I didn't go to it. Maddie went to it, and I think she said it was good. The her friend Audrey, who was in the one with you guys, was
Yeah.
also in that one
Oh, okay.
as like an ensemble.
Okay.
I think they said it was.
Anybody else from the other
I'm
show?
not from the other one. I don't think so. I know.
Yeah.
But but they did the same kind of thing where they switched things up. I know, like Harrod was like they made him more like a mobster kind of guy instead of him being like that. And then uh Judas, Judas was a woman and Jesus was a man, and I think that actually works really good. If it's
Mm,
but they didn't do it in the way I was picturing it. But Judas as a woman, I think makes sense because then it almost seems like Judas is in love with Jesus, and that's why Judas hates um Mary
mm.
Magdalene.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
that would be, especially because a lot of the songs sound like that too.
There was a lot
Um,
of like, I don't want to say like homoerotic overtones
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
written into it a little
there
bit. I
kind of
mean, he may
was.
have been in love
He might have been in love with
regardless,
him regardless. Yeah.
you know,
So maybe that's
but
why.
it makes it a little
Yeah,
bit more clear, if
yeah.
it's a woman. I get that.
So, but I don't think they
Yeah.
played it like that. But that's how I pictured it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Uh,
interesting, like with just how musicals can like help us learn about historical times, right? Like I
yeah,
didn't think about Jesus at all, really. I didn't even really think about the story until, I had to watch the musical and then I was like, it just teaches you historical events in a different way. You think
yeah,
about Hamilton, right? Like
yeah,
probably exposed
yeah.
a lot of people to just like
Yeah, it's
who he
funny.
was.
I don't even think I thought about Alexander Hamilton until Hamilton. But like that's like
Yeah.
a weird thing. Like what makes you
Yeah.
even think to make him such a monumental like
Yeah.
musical out of
Yeah.
that particular historic figure? It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It is
But
really interesting.
yeah, and especially just I mean how much of a success it still is. Everybody
I,
knows Hamilton. But I
I
feel
kind of
like
want to,
if somebody showed you a $20 bill, you wouldn't be like, "That's Alexander Hamilton." Like,
but is it?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Did you see the
Yeah,
musical?
yeah. I didn't see it in person, but I saw it when they released it on Disney Plus.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I still haven't seen it. I don't know.
it's like it's a lot at once. I think it's almost too much to watch at once, but it's good
Mm.
to be watched like broken up. And I don't know. There's one song called "You'll Be Back," and that's like I love that song. It's like it's the King, and he's like singing. It's just good. You got to hear that one at least.
What did you learn about history from it?
Um, nothing because I feel like every time I watch a musical, I don't I don't take
Yeah.
any. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
Well, I guess that
yeah,
goes
I
in my
mean,
theory.
yeah, I mean, but you know what? It makes you. It's not that you're learning in that moment, but it makes
Yeah.
you want to
Interested.
learn about it.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that's how
Huh.
I feel anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially like even with Jesus Christ Superstar,
Yeah.
because when I was a kid, we actually used to. It was like around Easter time. My mom would put that movie on, and I would kind of like tone it out because I was
Sure.
a kid.
It
Um,
looks goofy.
yeah, but like I was exposed to it a lot, but I didn't really like fully. I
Yeah.
wasn't fully into it. But then it was like coming back to it when you guys did the show because I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. And then I saw it, and now it's like, and then it was like it unlocked like memories from when I was a kid. But
Yeah.
it made my interest so much more into it. And then
Yeah.
even still, like there was a time there was a time when right after the show, I was like I would be working and I would just I'd play the soundtrack and I would just let the soundtrack go
Yeah.
throughout the day as I was working, and it would just finish, and then I would maybe play a couple songs again from it, and then the next day I'd play it again
Hmm.
and again and again, and then it was
Yeah.
just to the point where I knew every song like by heart.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it really spiked my interest in it, but like for the
Hmm.
longest time I remember just being totally disconnected from it. But like we see a lot of shows at Pittman, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and those are, pretty high production shows, but they never catch me
Huh.
unless I
Huh.
have some kind of
Attachment to it or something.
attachment to it. I get I like or I got to see it twice. I think that's
Mm.
another thing. If I see a show twice, then I'm in really into it. Like I don't know why. Like it's like I see it once and I'm like it was fine. I see it twice and now I'm
Yeah.
like hooked and I have to like see it a
Huh.
hundred more times.
Yeah, it's a lot to
Um,
take in at once, right? There's
yeah,
so much going on. Plus, it's like hard to follow the story sometimes, especially when it's being sung. It's like, what are
yeah,
you?
yeah. That's I think maybe that's why I think the first time
Yeah.
it almost completely loses me, and then the second time I
Mm.
like can actually sit there and
Yeah.
think about it more.
That tracks.
Yeah,
What's your
yeah.
favorite musical?
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, that's your favorite?
Yeah, yeah, it's my
Nice.
favorite. Um,
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of a close second. Um,
Have you ever seen Rent?
well, see, I love Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
I've
I
never
love,
seen Rent though, so I'm sure
wow.
I would like Rent. I know everything about Rent. I've just never seen it.
Dude, the
Yeah,
movie's really good.
yeah,
The
yeah.
movie's super good.
Tick Tick Boom or Rent?
Rent.
Yeah, yeah. I've never seen the movie. Tick Tick Boom, the movie was really good though too.
I can
The
send
intro.
it to you if you want to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. I think see that's something like Jonathan Larson.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
like I'm interested in him, so I think
Yeah.
I'm interested in what he has to say.
Huh.
So I think
Because you like Tick Tick
because I
Boom.
like, well, yeah, right. So because I
Hmm.
like Tick Tick Boom, that made me like Jonathan Larson. So I did started looking
Yeah.
up Jonathan Larson. So
Hmm.
I think I would have an interest in Brent
Dude, you
because
gotta
of
watch
that
Rent.
too.
The music is
Yeah,
so good. And I feel like the story is something that just kind of stands the test of time.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. When was that written? And then
It was like a
90s,
yeah, it was
80s?
like a big 90s thing.
Yeah, yeah, right. Mm. And I haven't seen Wicket either, but I'm
Even the
uh,
movie
yeah, no, I'm very interested in seeing that though because I
didn't
like
knock my socks off, I'll say that.
no. I think I see what's it called, that song Popular, that just gets stuck in my head so much. I'll just be thinking about it.
I
I'm like,
think it even gets stuck in my I think like I'm almost
yeah.
recalling the
But then I'm
melody.
like, is that the only song I'm gonna like? So
I think so.
I don't
It's
know.
just I like musicals and maybe
Yeah.
this is it probably is Wicked, but like where the
Yeah.
songs kind of like come together at different parts and kind of
Hmm.
like intermix. And sometimes they change the words, but the theme just kind of carries through.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it also kind of looks like gives me I don't know if you ever Spy Kids, but it gives me like Spy Kids vibes with the
Well, well, Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. Spy Kids was a movie like it was like a kids movie from when I was
Yeah.
growing up, but it was just like all like CGI backgrounds and stuff. And
Oh
that's just
yeah.
kind of how Wicket feels, where it's just is like
Yeah.
it feels very disconnected, even though it's a very high budget movie. There's just something
Yeah.
disconnecting it from.
Well, like you were saying a few episodes back on episode 4 about just how you like build sets and stuff and
Yeah,
like all that goes into that. And I think it's jarring seeing like a very obviously like CGI set
yeah,
when,
yeah,
you're so
for
familiar
sure.
with real sets.
Yeah, and you know what is crazy is like a good set, like you see a set on a movie or whatever, but you like don't even think about it. But a good set is those ones, the ones that you don't even
Yeah.
really think about because those are super
Yeah.
cool. There was one we had, I wasn't a part of building this one. This was like the first one I had just seen, and it was set up because we were gonna end up having to take it down because we were gonna have to build a police station for Mayor of Easttown so that we could constantly like film in it. But we had to take down the previous one, and I'm not sure what show it was for, but on the outside it's just like a wooden box essentially it looks like, and then you go into it and it literally looks like a crack house, like it's got carpet and it's like the carpet's
Mm,
dirty and it's like torn up, and then you go into like the bathroom part and they have like spit on the mirror and like half used bottles of things and trash, and it's like and coffee rings like on the counters and stuff just to make it seem, and I'm still not sure even what that was from because we ended up having to take that one down,
mm.
but it was so like detailed in
Engaging.
ways that yeah, and just like if it was on camera, I probably wouldn't even think about it, but in person, it was like mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
and it was just really cool. And then even because we would have to work, sometimes we'd be working, you're not working on a set, you're working in people's houses sometimes. So
Mm,
they would even, they go around to they location scouts and they scout locations. And then basically, like, they'll offer somebody, ask them like if they could use the house, and like they get set up in a hotel or wherever for like however long they need to film, and then they'll get set up with all the things that they need, and then they might get like, I don't know, $10,000 for every month or whatever they use the house,
mm, mhm,
something like that. They'll cover all their bills. They'll keep them
mm,
pent up somewhere, or like posted up somewhere, and then they, cover everything. So we're in people's houses and we're having to
yeah.
adjust, you know, things like colors of walls and stuff. And the scenics are who are the ones that they detail things. So, um, say we have a brand new chair or something, and the scenics need to make it, and we need it to look old. So we would say, okay, we'll bring this chair over to the scenics, and we need it to look like it's been dilapidated or whatever, and they'll do their thing and they'll make it look like whatever they got to make it look like, or make it look, or it might be old and they need to make it look new. So they'll do that kind of thing too. But in the houses, it's so weird, the art directors, because the art directors will put so much budget and time into something that's is so meaningless or
Mhm,
seems so meaningless. Like,
yeah.
I remember we were in this house and like they wanted to change the color of the walls. So we can't paint the walls because the people live there and we have to be able to restore it. So the
Mm.
scenics come in and they basically wallpaper the walls, but just where it looks a different color. It looks like it's just painted, but it's just wallpapered. And then, like the tiles for the kitchen floor, they wanted them to be different for whatever
Huh,
reason.
yeah.
So, so they were doing like peel and stick like tiles over top of the tiles,
Interesting.
and then we spent like a while like hanging curtains in a way that we'd be able to like take them down, and they would go over the existing curtains.
Hmm,
It's just weird things like that, or like the way we positioned couches and we had to keep moving things, and like almost like things that you just don't even like, it probably wouldn't have made that much of a difference, but they must have it because we never got to see the creative side. We're just told, okay, we need to do this, we need to do that, whatever. um
mm, mhm.
but there must be a place where they sketch out exactly what they want it to
Oh,
look
yeah,
like, and then it
totally.
doesn't matter the budget, just get it to look like that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
even I remember, so we were filming for a gas station one day because there's a scene where she like has to fill up her car, and we had to replace all the signs so that they weren't the actual gas station signs, like
Mm,
the big ones. But it was even down to, um, a cardboard sign that was written with marker, and it said like cash only or something, and like stuff like that. And there was a few different ones, and they're written just in like jagged cardboard with marker. But we were transporting them from where the scenics make all these signs to the set, and they had this cardboard piece of trash essentially, bubble wrapped and all like taped up all nice, just so it doesn't get damaged on its way over to set. But it's just a cardboard that says like cash only or something on it. um they just go out of their way to do stuff like that, and it's
yeah.
not, there's no wonder why they spend so much on these projects, because it's stuff like that, and then also everybody's getting paid by the hour, and
Still cheaper, I imagine, than like building a set.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, if you had to
yeah,
build a whole house or something.
yeah. I mean, the only time that it makes more sense to build a set is
Yeah.
if you have to, if you don't have everything planned out and you need to continue to go to a location, because
Hmm.
if they didn't have all the shots planned out that they needed
Yeah, they
for
couldn't
like
have
the
done all
people's
that.
houses we were working
Sure.
in,
Would have taken too
that,
long.
yeah, and like you not, how much of a
Mm.
giant expense would it be
Hmm.
to you film everything, and then oh, now you need more shots from that house. Well, now the people live there again and you took everything
Hmm.
down. So now you have to get those people back out of their house and then
Yeah.
remake the house look the way it did. So, like especially on shows where somebody's going to be at a house, I'm sure they just own those houses,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or they just build a set that looks exactly like that house, and they just use like in the case of like Breaking Bad, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
They
somebody's
rented that
house.
house. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But you think
And
about what's his name, Tyler Perry, right? And he's got all that
right.
whole like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
neighborhood that's
Yeah,
like all
that's
his.
hmm he's got like a whole town at this point, I think.
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And like they're like non-functional like in a way, Or
Yeah.
actually, I don't know if you watched The Walking Dead. Um,
Mm,
it's on and off. So in the later seasons, they were at a place called Alexandria, and it's supposed to be in Virginia, and they built a bunch of real houses, like fully real houses, and then so that they could use them throughout all of production. And then when
mm.
they were finally done with them, after years and years of using them, they put them up for sale as real houses. So then they were able to return some of that profit. So they actually made
Probably
money.
more so, people
Yeah.
probably want to
So exactly. Yeah. So they're probably sought after. Um, but
smart.
that's, I think that's probably
There's a whole
worth.
business,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, you're
To
spending the amount you're spending just to use somebody's living room is more than probably what a house costs. So you might as well just buy the
crazy
house. You know what I
at
mean?
that point. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Wild.
and it's like, so in this case, which is kind of crazy. If you ever have time to watch the show, I could do a director's commentary. But
Sure.
um, so we were filming in the one house, and then in the backyard of that house, we're filming in the neighboring back, like where the two backyards are butted up against each other. And we were filming inside both of those houses and also the exterior of them. So those houses were like super
Mm,
important to be used in that way.
sure.
I couldn't imagine that if they went to go back and do a season two of that show because I don't think it was meant to be. I don't know how that would work. They would,
Yeah, you'd
'cause
probably have to recreate it
yeah,
somehow.
that would
It'd be
be
hard.
a challenge. Yeah,
Be
even
hard.
with like changing everything, ceiling fans and
Everybody's got a price though.
yeah, yeah, they do. And if
Yeah.
that show makes enough money, I think the budget, I'm not even too sure. I think it was probably like $8 million an episode or something like that.
What
And
does
I
it
think it was
cost to build like a set for a musical?
so I actually did one for do you remember Piper from your show?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so Piper ended up directing
Guys and dolls.
Guys and Dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to build a bunch of walls like
Yeah, yeah.
for them. And they had to be like where they could be rotated and flipped. So
Okay.
I couldn't build them like how I'd build a normal set because usually
Sure. It was
they're just
dynamic.
yeah, they're like little thin one. You usually use like 2x2s and you can
Yeah,
just throw up walls and they could be flimsy. But these had to be like rolled around and stuff.
sure.
Um so I had to put some walls together and I think we did the walls and then they paint it and did all that stuff. I think she spent like $500 in total.
Wow.
Yeah. So on
So
all the stuff.
I could have you build a whole set for me for at least a couple grand.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
I'm
and
gonna write a musical.
there's actually some really interesting ways to do stuff. Because I don't know if you've ever seen like pink insulation foam, but they use
Sure.
that stuff a lot to make things
Hmm.
like rocks and like
Oh wow. Yeah.
you can just sculpt right into it.
Oh,
And so they use that stuff a lot too. Like they'll use that for, walls and whatever. And then
hmm.
they could just sculpt in it and then the scenics come and paint it all and it looks great. It looks real. And
I love that name, the Scenics.
yeah, yeah, I know. I always kind of wanted their jobs that seemed
It's a
fun.
cool name.
Yeah. They do fun stuff too. Like they don't really have to do anything other than the fun stuff.
I feel
So
like if I was in the Truman Show, that'd be like a fun scenic job. Well,
mm.
not if I was in the Truman Show, not if I was
Yeah,
Truman,
you were
but I guess
yeah.
like if I
Yeah,
was working on the Truman
yeah,
Show,
yeah.
I'd like to be a scenic. What would a
Yeah.
scenic on the Truman Show do?
They would probably have to be one of the actors on the Truman Show so that
Yeah,
they
they'd
could
have to be working
yeah,
like
so they
right
could
there.
discreetly do it. Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
crazy movie.
That was an awesome movie. I actually didn't see that until because I grew up on Jim Carrey, but I don't think I saw that until 2022 maybe. So it
Really?
was pretty recent. Yeah. I mean, I grew up on
Wow.
like all his movies, mostly The Mask, like that was on repeat as a kid for me.
We gotta have more Jim Carrey coming out of the woodworks. Not
Yeah.
enough Jim Carrey lately.
I know. I mean, I think he's kind of half semi-retired. He's like he only does things for fun now, like
It's a
Sonic.
shame. We
Yeah.
need a new crop of good actors to come out.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe Maximus. Maybe he'll come out from behind the scenes.
I mean,
Do you go
we'll
by
say.
Maximus? Does anybody ever call you Maximus?
Yeah. Yeah, mostly like customers and stuff call me Maximus,
Well, because
especially.
you put it on your Zoom. Maybe
Yeah,
do you
no,
have it like on your name tag or anything?
my name tag.
Or is it like a name tag? Like how do they know? Do you
uh,
introduce yourself as
it
Maximus?
says it on all my business cards and stuff, and on
But
my
you go by
shirts.
Max.
I go by Max just because it's easier, but I
But
like
you like
Maximus.
Maximus.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, my full
It's a
name
cool
is
name.
actually Salvatore Maximus
Oh,
Scarpato. So my first
huh.
name is actually Salvatore, but that my dad's name
Eh,
is Sal. Is my grandfather's name is
But you
Sal. His
go by
grandfather,
your
yeah,
middle name.
yeah, yeah, and it usually skips a generation. So even though we're all Salvatores, it's like my grandfather was also named Salvatore, but he didn't go by Salvatore. He went by Sonny, and then his dad went by Sal, but then his dad didn't go by Sal. So it's like
Funny.
because it gets can I don't know. And also I personally like I don't like naming my kid after myself. It gets confusing. I know too many
Sure.
people that have the same name as their dad,
So
and
your
it's
kid's
like
not going to be Salvatore.
it's supposed to be the last one, and it's supposed to be the last one that's a boy for whatever reason. So we'll see when
So
we
your
get
last
there.
kid will be
We'll
Salvatore.
see when we get there. If I feel like it's if it feels right, I'll do it. But it's not like it's not a necessity. And also it can always go by the middle name, but it's also sometimes disconnecting because I've always went by Max or Maximus my entire life, like since birth.
Yeah.
So it's confusing like when you're when you're writing something out, especially, or if in an important situation where you're writing something and you're putting Salvatore on the paper, but then
Yeah.
somebody is like, "Oh, Max," and they're like, "Wait, are you the person you're signing for right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, it's my middle name." Or like, you know,
And what's your last name?
Scarpato. So
That's cool. Is that what is
yeah,
that, Italian or Greek or
Italian. Yeah, yeah,
dope?
Italian. I'm Italian and Lithuanian. Uh, it's like basically a 50-50 split.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, uh Maximus Scarpato, Salvatore Maximus Scarpato, a new regular on the Bob seat. We're gonna get to know him over the next few episodes. I feel like we got to know you a little bit more this
Mhm.
episode. And yeah, man, gonna wrap this up for today. Looking forward to continuing to have the audience get to know you.
Yep.
Uh, want to hear more about your ideas of things, and I feel like you bring a good a youth perspective.
All right, I'll take that.
How old are you now?
Twen-
27?
You got it. No, I'm kidding.
20,
23. I'll be 24 later this
dang,
year.
23.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, man, dude,
Should have seen me when I was 19. I think I looked older and sounded a little bit older too.
no, it's good. I like I'm 38, so that's 15 years of
What year were you born? I'm trying to think.
86.
86.
You're gonna teach me all the
Good year.
skibbity doo and
Yeah, yeah. Skippy
TikTok language.
Runner. Yeah, yeah. You know
You'll
what?
be able to
You know
speak to
what's
the new
funny?
generation.
I'm already kind of getting phased out of that
We all
generation.
get phased out.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of
Yeah.
time.
It comes quick. I feel like it goes quicker
You're in your
now.
podcast phase now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that phase for me.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah.
Well, let's pick this back up maybe next week or
Yeah.
the
Cool.
week
Sounds
after.
good.
We'll see. But until then, it was
Yeah,
we're
the
gonna leave them wanting more.
background's gonna keep changing, so
Every
it'd probably be
every
different next time.
every video, it's gonna just
Yeah.
evolve, and pretty soon you're just gonna be the next Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to get those the fancy microphones and the brick wall,
Yeah, we gotta get the kind that are on the arm.
and we have to be able to like queue up like YouTube and stuff as
Yeah.
we're
We
talking.
need a guy that we can say, "Hey, Jamie, can you pull that up?"
What do you think? What do you think about talking about current events?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I feel like people that's going to interest people.
Talk about the plane crashes next time that keep
Yeah,
happening.
there you go. Yeah, we got to talk about
Start,
conspiracies and
yeah,
stuff.
conspiracies. We'll
Now
pick
they
our
know
best
us.
conspiracies. Yeah.
All right, well,
Sounds good.
ladies and gentlemen, we're signing out of the Bob seat. We'll see you
On
next
the
week
next one.
or the next one.